The rain hit heavy against the top of the cottage. Fluttershy was in the kitchen preparing a hot cup of tea, while Rainbow was searching around for some bandages. "Honey, do you know if we have any band-aids around here somewhere?" Rainbow looked up from an open drawer that she was looking in, but unsurprisingly, it wasn't holding what she was looking for. "Well, I know we do, but I doubt they would be in the kitchen." Fluttershy smiled at the clueless love and tended back to her tea. "Oh, well..." Rainbow looked around in confusion. "Have you checked the bathroom?" Fluttershy turned back to her still ever so confused friend. She subtly tried to help her out with her little ordeal. "I don't see why they would be in there, but okay." Rainbow turned on her heels and headed up the stairs to their bathroom on her journey to seek for the needed band-aids. Fluttershy slowly shook her head, but her face still harbored a smile. She began to pour hot liquid into a small teacup, and she then placed a few spoonfuls of sugar in the tea. Her eyes glanced out the window to see the downpour was still not letting up. It actually seemed to have gotten worse ever since they got home. Fluttershy turned back to her cup. She blew on it a couple times in an attempt to cool it off a little, and once she saw it was fit, she grabbed it and carried it upstairs to the bedridden Scootaloo. Once Fluttershy made it to Scootaloo's door, she saw that Rainbow Dash was already in there with the bandages that she was searching for what seemed like forever. "You were right. They were in there." Rainbow lifted the box of band-aids and waved them about in the air to make sure Fluttershy could see her accomplishment. She merely nodded and smiled at Rainbow, and then she turned to her little Scootaloo, who was now conscious and awake. "Hey there, dear. How are you feeling?" Fluttershy went over to Scootaloo's bedside and leaned down on her knees so that she would be at Scootaloo's level. Fluttershy handed over the hot tea to Scootaloo, who graciously accepted the kind offer. "Thanks a lot. I feel much better now. Still a little sore, but Rainbow is fixing me up." Scootaloo grinned, showing her bright teeth, and then she slowly lifted the hot cup to her lips and sipped on it cautiously. "I see. You look like you're in good hands here." Fluttershy brought her hand to Scootaloo's head and softly rubbed through her short hair. "Though, I can't help but wonder, what happened to you?" Fluttershy turned her eyes downward, but then she brought them back up to notice that Rainbow was now looking at Scootaloo seriously as well. Scootaloo didn't know which eyes to stare back into. She felt so scared at the moment by both of them. Worry filled up inside of her as she thought of what they would say to her. Would they hate her if she told them? Would they be mad at her? Scootaloo decided to just lay her head low and tell them without looking back in either one of their eyes. Scootaloo sniffled a bit before she continued. "I just wanted to walk by myself." Fluttershy and Rainbow's hearts both began to slowly shatter by Scootaloo's words. They felt so terribly. They never realized how bad it must have affected Scootaloo that she could move about freely. But she couldn't even stand up without someone to hold on to, or unless someone carried her around. Scoots. Rainbow lowered herself as well, and placed a hand on Scootaloo's bruised up arm. She began to comfortably rub against her hand, and Rainbow then intertwined her fingers with Scootaloo's. Scootaloo quickly looked to see that Rainbow Dash was holding her hand. She then felt the other hand being grabbed onto. She turned to her other side and saw that Fluttershy was holding her other hand as well. Scootaloo's heart began to race quickly with happiness. She felt so warm inside as both of them began to hold on to each of her hands. It comforted her in such a way that she couldn't explain with words. Tears filled up in her eyes and a smile spread over all of their faces at once. "Scoots, if you can't run, I won't run either." Rainbow looked deep into Scootaloo's tearful purple eyes. Her tone was so serious that Scootaloo wasn't sure what to think. "What do you mean?" Scootaloo and Fluttershy both looked back at Rainbow with confusion in their eyes. "I'm going to quit the track team." Rainbow did nothing but smile back at them both. "But—" Rainbow quickly covered Scootaloo's mouth with a single finger, interrupting her argument that was sure to come. "Say nothing. You need your rest." Rainbow pulled her hand away from Scootaloo and then began to stand back up. Fluttershy did likewise, leaving Scootaloo confused on her bed. "Rainbow's right, Scootaloo. You need to get sleep. Maybe the rain will leave a beautiful rainbow for you to see in the morning." Fluttershy smiled at the little girl who was now snuggling under her covers. Both girls leaned down and kissed Scootaloo's head at the same time. They then released from her and turned to the door. They turned once more to the face of Scootaloo, who was staring back at them with a blank expression. "Good night, Scoots." "Sleep tight, dear." Fluttershy reached her hand out for the light switch and flicked it off. The room fell dark, and the door then shut behind them. Scootaloo lay in her bed, with her eyes staring up at the dark ceiling. "Dear Goddess of the Night, please keep my family safe, and don't let Rainbow quit her dream for me. Please, Night Goddess, I beg you. Thank you for this happy family that you have blessed me with. Goddess of the Night, watch over my family tonight." Fluttershy's eyes turned to her lover after she shut Scootaloo's door. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Fluttershy lifted a hand and placed it on Rainbow's tan cheek. Her eyes gazed into Rainbow's beautiful pink pupils. Rainbow Dash looked back with a smile on her face. She took a deep breath, and she then answered, "There's nothing I would rather do in this world." As the rain continued to pour down hard, a certain box continued to lay on the ground, water soaking through its seams as it lay forgotten.